Happy Saturday, January 17th today. And we're activating prosperous lives here on the live stream with featured guests and speakers and myself. We're going deep into conversations about scarcity, money problems, not getting the results that you want. So today we're really talking about the aligned actions, equal results, real results. So why aren't you getting the results if you think you're doing the aligned actions? I'm Jennifer Seifert. I'm the host of the Activate Your Prosperous Life Summit, and I am feeling really aligned lately. Feeling really aligned. I'm doing things like creating this summit, and it is activating so much in my life. Prosperous people, prosperous conversations, prosperous people coming into the summit to join in and work out things that you know don't want to hang on to anymore, like money problems, why I'm not making the impact that I am. I'm a little tired today, so I'm bobbling a bit, but please join the summit. Join the summit if you're looking to activate your prosperous life in 2026. There's something going on here that's bigger than I can even describe right now. So today we're going to talk about why you're not getting what you want, and maybe you're not taking the aligned actions to equal the results that you're putting intentions out there for. So like if you want to make $1 million next year, are you doing those steps that will bring in that $1 million? That's what we're going to talk about today. Robert, we were talking before you came live about making $1 million next year. So tell us about you. Let the audience know a little bit about who you are and why aligned actions and will equal that $1 million next year.
Yeah, who am I? I'm constantly, uh, how do you say it? I'm always in the process of becoming. So I'm always open to change, and I welcome it, and I'm helping my clients do the same, to welcome change and to break through the fear of the unknown, because that's what's holding us back. Um, I was just talking to you, Jennifer, before, and I'm in a place in my life right now that I can't push anything at all. It really, for me, it's all about if I want to really align, not my will be done, thy will be done. I think, Kirsten, I think you might have said, well, I'm completely in alignment. Thy will be done is my will to be done. And that's where I am right now. I can't push anything at all. And I'm looking into getting aligned with a program of going for the million. But it's interesting because on the other hand, I'm like, the million is so banal, actually. I've got so many other things, but it's like, oh, well, what's that all about? Why do I have to say it's so banal? It's as if, why not? What would you all out there do if you had that million? Dream, you know, dream about it. That should make you happy. If you had it, would that make you happy? Of course it would. And one other short thing I just wanted to mention, this I can't get what I want. If you are suffering from what you can't get what you want, uh, there are so many aspects to this thing, but I'm just going to give it uh, one point of view from the perspective of the way you were nourished when you were a child. Was it on schedule, or did they just feed you on demand? If you didn't get what you wanted when you needed it, it turns out that you get the feeling that you never get what you want when you want it. So these are like things we need to really unravel and clear out of our system. Everything is there. All that I want is already there, and everything I need, I already have, are my affirmations.
I love it. I love it. And Robert and I can like have a 3-hour conversation and not even know where the time goes because we can just keep talking and going deep about these things. Linda, share with us a little bit about you and this topic about aligned action, real results.
Gosh, I love this topic. I could talk all day about it. I have so much I want to say. I'll try and keep it brief. So I help people understand their energy, the energy of what they're doing, the energy of what they want, and how to align who they are with what they really want. And I think there are many ways we get in our own way when we say we're doing everything, because that's most of my clients when they come to me. They are very, very knowledgeable. They've done the programs, they've done the work, they've read the books, they've had coaches, they've done the work, but they're not getting the results. And a couple of main reasons I'll talk about. One is because they get in their own way. They say, this is what I want, and they're expecting it has to come in this way and look exactly like this, right? And what if it doesn't come that way? Would you be happy if you got it another way? Quick example, I used to do cruises, take groups on cruises and do workshops while we were on the cruise. It was a lot of fun. We went to the Caribbean. One woman had been saving for a couple of years to try and come on the cruise, and she'd never been able to save up the money. So I said to her, forget about the money, just let's think about the cruise. If this is what you really want, imagine yourself on the cruise, take a picture of the boat and put in the ship, put that on your refrigerator. What excursions will you take? Just imagine yourself on this cruise. Well, then she had a boyfriend who came over, saw the picture of the ship and asked her about it. And when she told him, he said, oh, that sounds great. I would love to do that. I would love to come, and I'll pay for you to come too. And she called me, and she was very disappointed. And I said, well, it's great. You can come. This is what you wanted. And she said, yes, but I wanted to pay for it. And I understand that we want to be the ones to pay for it. But if it comes to you a different way, can you appreciate and accept that? I mean, the universe delivered exactly what she said she wanted. And then the other way we get in our own way, I think, is we're looking to somebody else for the answers. So we go and follow somebody else's step-by-step program or somebody else's blueprint. Someone says, I did this, this, and this, and I got these results. And if you do this, this, and this in this exact way, you will get the same results too. But what happens when you do those exact things and you don't get those results? See, what I've learned is that you really need someone who will help you find your way, because you might follow those steps and get the same results as them, but you might follow those steps and not get the same results. So what is it for you? What is it that will work for you? And that's what you need to uncover. And I'll stop there because I could go on for a long time.
Well, you're going to have another chance to go deeper on the next round. Irina, you and I were inspired. We were, I'm coming up with topics after live streams. Like, each topic is born out of a previous live stream. And so we were birthing this one the other day. Irina, tell us what we were masterminding.
Yeah, thanks so much. Well, my name is Irina Portnova, and I'm a manifestation star because I show you how to manifest things easily and consciously. And I primarily focus on business owners who want to really manifest great cash flow and lots of clients by teaching them how to organize big events and build the audience first. And then I teach them how to sell to that audience so they become successful. And Jennifer, I love our masterminding time together because, again, we can never come up by ourselves to the level that we can do when we are together, because we are always connected to that source, right? So there are millions of brains, but there is only one mind. And once we connect to that mastermind, we start sourcing the ideas that we would never be able to generate on our own. And I love our conversations because it always opens something up. And again, it just, just stay in that beautiful field and just allow yourself to receive. So I truly, truly enjoy your energy, and I'm grateful for the universe to actually connect us together so we both could thrive together. And I just wanted to say about Linda's story. When Linda was sharing about that client that she wanted to pay for her trip, and that's exactly what is something that's getting on the way for the people, because they do not know how to receive. And that's exactly what was showing up in her. Because again, we want something, but we do not have the capacity. our container is not expanded enough to receive what we truly want. And it takes time. It takes some, work that we're supposed to do in order to connect with that. And another great thing why people are not receiving what they want is because they want it at their timeline, but it doesn't work this way. Everybody has something to uncover, and for somebody it's faster, for somebody it takes longer. So my invitation to everybody, because I work with a lot of clients, some of them just quit on themselves because they have the expectation for the certain day, this is what I'm supposed to receive, and they freak out, they pull themselves out, and that's exactly where they step on the same road that they were before. So they just do not progress at the level that they want. And my invitation is the way the energy works. Let's apply it to the real life example. Look at these athletes. They do not train once a week. They train every day. And even when they go to compete, they do not stop training. So that's exactly how this energy works. You do invest in yourself. You do have somebody who can guide you where you want to be, and you'll see the results. Nobody can tell you when, but I can reassure you that you will if you stay supported.
Yeah, consistency. And I'm always going to refer back to sports because I come from the horse racing family, and I am like a professional athlete in my life, and I don't give up. I don't give up easily, but I do pivot a lot. I pivot a lot because the body, like even if you're going down the same road, say you drive to work the same way all the time, you kind of don't even remember how you got there, right? Like you get unconscious about it. And so you have to, train a little bit different. You have to graduate. You have to get more resistance, like, put more weight on. You have to like make some challenges for yourself when you're training to be consistent. Kirsten, I'm excited to hear what you're going to talk about.
Hello, everybody. Kirsten Leekman, and I'm the CEO of Regener Studio, and I'm also a leadership mentor for those that I call game changers of this time. People who are looking to change the way we live and thrive on Earth. And that's requiring a leap, a quantum leap right now in who we choose to be and how we choose to show up. And so this conversation about prosperity is so powerful because it's unearthing. With every live that we've done, we're unearthing more of the subtleties of how this works. This is not a black and white, be open to prosperity or not. There are a lot of subtleties in there. And, I always laugh. I call myself a recovering German. Okay. And many of you have an idea of what that could mean, but I was trained push and shove and, make things happen, be focused. And, it's a contracted energy that is forcing, right? And so it's taken a long time to start shifting that energy to saying, yes, we need the structure. So there is the foundational pieces that we need to build that all of my co-facilitators are talking about. It's the skills of manifestation. It's the skills of receiving. It's the skills of being open. And, in my world, for the regenerative entrepreneurs, business skills and leadership skills, right? So there's a foundation that we need to build. Then there is the piece of the vision. Do you actually know what you want? And that's been, for me in the past, a really, really difficult one, to tap into desire and to tap into what you actually want, right? So we have those two poles, but then in between, it's like two magnets that create flow. That's where the magic happens. Right? That's where you follow the divine breadcrumbs. That's where you are not attached. And we're talking about attachment here, attachment to outcome. When you can be unattached with a strong vision, That's a magical place.
Mhm.
And that's when you get to fall. That's where strategy unfolds, and all of the things that we're talking about, aligned action. But you have to have the structure to be able to be in flow. And that creates balance. And that's when you take off.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Balance and unattachment. And it's a very different, I don't want to say that. It's a practice. It's a practice, a discipline. It's a constant watching. It's like, oh, am I forcing? Like, especially when you're recovering, like we're all recovering high achievers here. We're all recovering from having to prove that we know what we're talking about too. and so we have to keep watching. It's like, oh, am I going down an old road? Because when you get around certain people, sometimes you go down that old road automatically, especially your family, family, you know, because they see you, they see you in a different way. They don't see your change because they're not looking at you that way,
Mhm.
you know. Imani, tell us the ecosystem of, you know, carry on what Kirsten was saying.
You know, it's there's this energetic field that we all have that's containing this space, right? That's holding space for what we believe we deserve, right? And so oftentimes we're operating in this diminished state. And so I encourage my clients to return to their divine identity. And that has a lot to do with what was said already about tuning into divine's will for ourselves, as opposed to setting goals around our limiting beliefs, our desire to prove ourselves, to overcome, to be high performers, right? And all of the things that has already been discussed, which is so fascinating because every comment that has been said already aligns. I remember a time when I was okay, we need to be in the moment. Our power is in the present moment and identifying how am I radiating, what's coming, what's happening within me, right? So as within, so without is something I like to say. I'm a poet, right? And you really need to tune into what's going on inside of you. And another element of that we tend to do, I have this workshop that's about the heart and living above the heart, right? When we're thinking energetically, all of our survival mode and ideas and creations are energetically coming through the chakras below the heart. But above the heart is this ability to connect to the divine, right? And then we want to bring and give and share our gifts and take action through the heart. So there's this beautiful flow in the framework that I've created, and aligned action is actually the fourth and the last pillar of the idea framework. And it really does require us to see what's happening on the inside. And so I just want to draw back to that, the cruise. I was on a cruise that was gifted to me, and even as a coach, I have to practice. You know, what was coming up was, I'm on this fabulous cruise that I can't afford. So there's, you know, and I was thinking in my diminished state, not in my divine state. I mean, there was real spiraling going down, like, so sad, I can't afford that. Like, I don't like not being in that state. But that was also the signal for my body to recognize this is not truth. This is why the discomfort shows up, to show you this is not this is not truth. This is not real. And so that spiraling quickly turned into just enjoy yourself. This is a gift. And I get gifts all the time and it's ridiculous. So even as an entrepreneur who doesn't have the predictable income, you have to trust moment by moment that your needs will be met when you're taking the aligned action from a divine paradigm, as opposed to the diminished. And diminished often looks like, hey, I'm making choices based on conditioning. I'm making choices based on my fears. I may be even making decisions because, oh, as a single mom, it's hard. Entrepreneur, it's hard. First 3 years, it's hard. All of those statistics that are outside of us have been created based on people's experiences operating from a diminished state. We've got to tap into our divine design as spiritual beings. We are co-creators. And once we start identifying with that identity, that's not limited to, oh, I'm Afro-Indigenous woman, and all of the cultural things that we buy into. We've got to live above the heart. Remember our connection to source. Allow source to flow through us and recognize what your energetic field is holding space for. Aligned action can happen moment by moment. It can shift the moment you step into that power. And so if you're not getting real results, or if you're attached to specific results, like start trusting. I'm taking action. I'm okay with whatever happens. All I know is everything is working for my good. All I know is I have something to give, and whoever needs me will find me. When we can hold our energetic space for that divine, beautiful energy, aligned action becomes effortless and more consistent, as long as you can start practicing being in this state. And so there's so many beautiful ways everyone has shared how to get there. And this summit is allowing all of you to develop these tools and develop these practices and get into this space. And let's see these new earth entrepreneurs. This is the new way. Being a conscious entrepreneur, not even a social entrepreneur. We want to be conscious entrepreneurs, and that's who I'm working with, change makers, those who are passionate about how they want to show up in the world, but have been afraid because it doesn't look like what the world looks like right now. We're creating a new world. So start trusting what's being called with your desires. As long as you're connected to the divine source, aligned action is going to become more and more consistent. And then once you start flowing, it all starts flowing. And you trust even the moments where it's like, doesn't look like
Yes,
what I
you
thought
do.
it would,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're setting me up. You're setting me up here because
Good.
when you want to get into this aligned action frequency. So here's the thing.
Mm.
We've been going live with 6, 9, 10 people every day, mostly 9. Saturday, a little less turnout. But if you've been watching this, I really want you to share this with your community, because this is not the norm, what you're seeing in the news and the TV and the Netflix and all of that kind of stuff. This is new information. Well, it's old. We're talking about Hermetic principles here. These are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, but we're the ones who are bringing it back to you. We're the ones that are bringing it back into the consciousness of the planet. And this summit is having a ripple effect. It's having a ripple effect. And whether you're watching or not, it's actually having a ripple effect. But when you come closer in and pay attention to these live streams and come even deeper and get the full interview with these people, the expansion is really easy, because you're consuming information that your soul is craving. And you might experience, I don't want to go into that, why I have that money problem and all that kind of stuff, and it feels yucky or whatever. But it has to get out. It has to come to the surface to clear. It has to come to the surface to clear it. Every single one of us on all of these calls, every single person in the summit, all the feature speakers, this is our main role and mission, is how to help you transform these things. And we're amazing guides. And so if you want to get closer to us, join the VIP. Not only register in the links in all of these streams, but then go one step further and go into the VIP, where you can experience laser coaching from us in the VIP rooms that I've created for all of us to, really do our work, our mission work. So I encourage you to do that. We're going to do another round here, and I'm going to tell you everyone's talk title. And Robert's
Can I just add
Yes.
to the VIP point? Because like we were talking about, right? Not necessarily like when there is something inside of anybody who is watching something like that for the first time, and there is no coincidence, somebody might be not having the people around them to like really understand what this is all about. And a lot of times it could be lonely. That's why VIP is a great way to connect to like-minded people. These are the rooms that you can actually start making connections. And then these connections are going to propel you to something beautiful, something wonderful. So the people that are surrounding you in the physical world do not look at you and saying that you're cuckoo crazy, because you know that you have the mission and the purpose in this life. So VIP is the way to go.
Yes. Thank you for adding that.
Sure.
Robert, you're the hidden energy trap master. You can clear the hidden energy traps. What happens, like what's one hidden energy trap that keeps people, maybe they're repeating the same thing, like they're trying to try the same thing to get a different result? You're muted.
There we go. Yeah, so I just love this topic because I was told very early on in my life, you are an incredible manifester. And when she said that to me, I was like, yeah, I am. So it resonated, although I wasn't manifesting anything at that time in my life. But when she said that, it just resonated in me, and I knew that was true. And one thing I came to understand, and that's like a whole cliche, if we're not aligned from our heart, Imani mentioned the heart, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course, the heart. So I believe that we're really losing a lot of our energy if we're not aligning our mission to our purpose. So I'm all about creating the mind-heart coherency. In all ancient traditions, even in Catholicism, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, right? Mind, body, and spirit. But what happened to the heart aspect? And according to heart math science, our heart creates about 60 times stronger amplitude, electrical energy than our brain, and about 100 times stronger electromagnetic energy than our brain. Our heart is literally, when it is moving, our desire is moving through our heart. It's our heart that is attracting whatever it is we want. So, that cliche when you hear the Indian in the cowboy movies go, follow your heart. But they understood what it really meant. Follow your heart. But we have gone in such strong separation with what we really want. Like Kirsten was saying, know what you really want. Most people, when I ask them, they say, I don't know what I want. Well, then you're going to get everything that you don't want until you finally realize what it is you want. I've had enough of this. Now, I'm going to start focusing on that which I want.
Yeah. Like, believe it or not everyone in my life is on the same page as I am, or the same wavelength. And lots of times I'm mystified. I'm like, how can you not open your mind to just the believing that if you change your mindset, or if you change the way you're saying something, you will get what you want. But one person I know is constantly saying, there's nobody that wants to do that work. There's nobody that wants to do that work. So there's nobody I can hire to do that, to grow and expand my business, because it's too dangerous or something like that. And I'm like, every time I suggest, well, what if you said, there's amazing people out there to do that work, and I'll find the perfect person really wants to work for me, but they will absolutely not try that. So you might have people like that in your world. You just have to all right, whatever you don't attach to what they're doing. You just okay, that's your problem. I'm going my way. I'm going my way. Some people do not want to change. That is fine. We're not going to try and force anyone to change. We're just going to work on ourselves and attract the people who also work on themselves. Like I have here. Linda, your talk, breaking free from the imposter syndrome. How does this show up too? Like when you're wanting the results, you really want the results, but you don't think that you deserve them.
Yeah, well, on a previous live stream, we talked about the importance of awareness and paying attention and noticing when these things show up. And I'll share an example, my own example from yesterday, to show you how there's a saying that says how you do anything is how you do everything, right? So we talk about manifesting. Often we're thinking about manifesting big stuff, money or a house or whatever it is, or a new job or clients, whatever it is. But go back to the everyday things, the things you do and how you're showing up every day. And noticing when this imposter syndrome or I'm not good enough or I don't deserve shows up. So yesterday I had booked the day off. I was going to meet with a friend who had recently recovered from a couple of surgeries. And we were going to spend the day going for a walk and then having lunch. And I had agreed to meet her at her house, which is about a 40-minute drive from me. And then she would drive us to the location for the walk and lunch, and then take me back to my car. I would drive home. So what I became aware of was, as I was driving there, in my head were all these thoughts about 40 minutes drive. There's going to be lots of traffic. It's going to be a nightmare. All of those kinds of thoughts. And I noticed that, I was starting to not enjoy the day because of this already going on in my head. And I caught myself and I was thinking, I'm coming from this place of activate your prosperous life. This is not it. And I said to myself, okay, can you just be grateful for the beautiful day? The sun is shining. Enjoy. And I set the intention that I was going to enjoy the whole day, no matter what, including the driving. I put on some beautiful music. I was listening to that. I was grateful for the beautiful day. I was grateful that I had a tank full of gas. I was grateful I was going to get spend time with my friend. So I turned it around to start being grateful, because I recognized that it was that old pattern that was showing up. And I did. I just completely enjoyed the day. It was fantastic. The traffic was not bad. I went there, I came home, everything was wonderful. So I had a wonderful day. And so if you think about that, even in the small everyday things, what kind of energy are you putting out? Because when you put out that kind of energy, it's saying, well, I really don't deserve to have a day off and to have a nice time. And, I'm going to think of things that get in the way, that spoil it. Right. So it's important, so important to be aware of when those thoughts show up that show you it's that imposter syndrome at work. It's that sense of I'm not good enough or I don't deserve this coming up. And the final thing I'll say, because I don't want to forget it, is your environment, the place you live, the things you surround yourself with. That's also important too, because the energy in your environment is a reflection of you and what's going on with you in your life. So you can allow your environment to support you as well. Just wanted to throw that bit out there. But it's just how we're showing up every day for even the little things is really important, and that's the kind of thing that can get in our way.
Yes. And I'm so happy you shared that, because it's showing me something about this morning for myself as well. Like the day 2 email was glitching and I was, okay, getting it to work. And I was kept going back. It's like, nah, it's going to work. Don't get frustrated. Don't get mad at the computer and all that. And then I went and made my breakfast, the email sent, and, somebody said there was an error. So then I came up right away, fixed the error, went back down to my breakfast. And then I thought, you know what? Okay, but before I sent that email, that first email that had the error, because I was, glitching a bit, the things were glitching. I said a blessing, I sent it with a blessing. Because I said, okay, before you press send, like, let's do a little blessing here, because who knows why it was glitching. I can't figure that out. I don't need to, but I made it work. I didn't make it work. I had another way for it to work. And so I just, went back a step. And then afterwards, after my breakfast, before we got on this live stream, I thought I need to do, I want to do some little, little meditation or ritual, because we were talking about ritual and routine in our VIP call yesterday. And I decided to smudge and clean up the energy, clean up the papers, smudge. And then I got my feathers out and I did a little blessing in the room. Those types of things, bring us back into being expansive and spacious and open to receiving and more, and being connected with our soul, the authentic part of ourselves, instead of like, okay, I got to do this live stream and show up here and organize all that. It's like,
it stops the fear taking over, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm loving this conversation. Irina, manifest cash on demand is your talk. So where do people, they're lacking taking action. It looks productive. They're being productive, but then nothing's coming in, they're being busy, but nothing's coming in.
Yeah, I love what Robert was sharing, because not everybody is in that, energy world. And a lot of people are like, okay, give me logical answers, then I'll believe in that, right? And I love how Robert was explaining the heart and how that heart energy is really expanding us and connecting to everything what we want. So I just want to take it to another level, because we are manifesting all the time with every breath we are taking. And whether we are conscious about it or not conscious about it, we are bringing something into our life, right? So everybody is manifesting something. And a lot of people are manifesting from the fear, from the lack, and they recreate the same reality. So what I'm teaching people, I'm just saying, okay, this is not our job to know how. Because everybody is like, okay, how can I actually manifest that money, right? And our monkey mind is like starting to race, like trying to prove that it's not possible, right? So I say, how is not our job? Our job is to know what we want and why we want it. And that's how I always say there is a higher power that's breathing us. Whatever you call it, somebody call it God, somebody call it higher self, somebody call it creator, somebody call it universe. But just the understanding that we are not alone here, and that breathing power is giving us life. And this is the same power that creates the money and results and everything. And if somebody is still arguing with me, but I do not believe in a higher power, and I could tell them, really? If you are going to put your alarm clock tomorrow, but if that power that's breathing you is not going to wake you up, there is not such any alarm that's going to wake you up. So it's just a great perspective for people to start like really paying attention. There are so many invisible things, right? And because we do not understand some of them, a lot of people just deny. So I'm always saying that you can manifest as much money as you want. And this is not your job to know how. And that's exactly what I'm teaching people, because remember, everything stems from our belief. If we believe we can receive, then we'll receive. If we do not believe, we are also not going to receive, right? So like Ford was saying, whether you can or cannot, you're always right. Right? Once we understand that everything stems from our belief. And if you do not believe, I allow them to borrow my belief, because I believe in each person that comes to me and manifest cash, because I've seen it happening for one, and it can happen for everyone.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing with working with mentors like us, guides like us, game changers like us. We have practiced, we have done work, we have gotten to certain levels of, okay, this doesn't happen to us anymore, and we can lead the way. And then you can borrow our belief, you can borrow our confidence, you can borrow our blessings, because there's overflow. Kirsten, thriving at the frontier of change. So what happens when leaders do try to force results, when they're meant to be on this edge? Because the edge is sometimes it's a little scary when you're in the unknown, when you don't know how it's going to happen, and you have to trust.
Yeah. What happens? It doesn't happen when you try to force it, is the short answer. Or you might get a portion of it, but you end up completely stressed and overwhelmed and sick, and like I did in the 2000s with my multi-million-dollar business, I ended up with migraines every 2 weeks, 3 days straight, right? It's not worth that kind of that's not prosperous, even though the money was there. The prosperity, which is the holistic prosperity, right? And Linda, going back to your story of the gal who got the cruise paid for, we have this very, very narrow definition of prosperity, which means I have to earn it because then I can feel like I am somebody, right? And we don't allow the other kinds of prosperities, the gifting, the wealth and relationships, all that. We somehow make that less important than financial prosperity, right? And so one of the things is to understand that there's way more prosperity there than there is. And I think Irena, to hook into what you were saying, I believe one of the biggest fears for people is the fear of disappointment and feeling of failure that I am not able to manifest, because they're attached to the outcome. And then that ties into unworthiness, and then that spirals down, right? So that really being aware of that and understanding, this is a practice, right? We are getting better. But I want to hook it back into like one of the very first live streams that we did. This is about frequency and the state of being you choose to be in. I'm going to say that again. It's the state of being you choose to be in. We throw around, these words with like how you show up. What does that actually mean? It means that you cultivate a state of being that is off the emotional roller coaster. And I want to share a story of a client that I've been working with now for a few years. He is at the the top of the venture industry redesign movement, if you will. He's been in the angel investing. He's headed up a family office. I mean, he is at the top of his game. We've been working on his state of being, right? He's a leader, but we've been working on his state of being, and we've worked through getting a relationship and then realizing it wasn't the perfect relationship. And now he's in the perfect relationship. His business wasn't doing well. It is taking off right now. And what he credits mostly is the ability to stay in the frequency of what we call in principle number 1 in our work, better than you could ever imagine. No matter what, you all talked about the how. We don't know the how. It doesn't matter the how, right? All we know is that when you can hold the frequency of better than you could ever imagine, no matter the evidence, you will know that the flow will direct you exactly where you need to be, even if it means going through a relationship that actually wasn't the best, but you learned the things you needed to actually then manifest the most wonderful relationship possible. And it's the same thing with finances. Maybe you were at the low level of income in order to develop something within you and learn something so that you could open up to the prosperity that is your birthright, right? So everything that shows up. I mean, I lost my husband in 2021. You bet I had to practice. Can I hold that even this is better than you could ever imagine, right? And the learning that I got from that and the thriving that I have now, and I'm in a wonderful relationship, right? All of that. If I hadn't practiced better than you could ever imagine, I don't know if that would have come, another 10 years from now, right? So it's a frequency of cultivating what I call inner royalty, holding that everything is better than you could ever imagine, calm-centered, even when things go really, really well. Don't go in the adrenaline excitement. Be in that absolute joyful state that doesn't take you out of your stability, out of your harmony, right? and open, curious innocence and joy. All of those are states of being that we get to cultivate, and then we get to show up that way.
Love it. I love it.
Beautiful.
And you know, Kirsten, this beautiful relationship she's in, this guy knocked on her door. Knocked on her door.
Literally.
Yeah. She'll tell that story, I'm sure, maybe a live stream or two around the corner. But literally, he knocked on her door.
Uh-huh. And there was
Imani-
absolutely, and the
Yeah.
beauty was both
Yeah.
of us, neither of us were looking for a relationship. I mean, it was 2 years after I lost my husband. I wasn't in any shape or form desiring a relationship. He was in the same place, and it became like this blossoming that has been absolutely amazing. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't need to look. You just need to know what you want. You know what you want. You have to be watching, but you don't need to be like looking.
Right. And not
Um,
resisting, right?
yes,
Not
yeah.
resisting because you're attached to something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Imani, activate your divine abundance ecosystem. We're probably going to have to like collaborate on something here. Like we're creating a major ecosystem here with this summit. How do we align action with a larger ecosystem of abundance instead of trying to push through from isolation, right? Like there's the power of the community here and the ecosystem, right?
You know, we can choose to continue to put ourselves in a box, right? So we've created these conditions. And so once I meet this milestone or this KPI or this result, I will be fulfilled. And then I'm going to create another one and keep going on this cycle and loop of trying to get results. I really had to question myself, right? When I first decided to fully do this work and not take contract jobs and have this, you know, a side job or a hustle, whatever. I had to quit, you know, I started to really attach to the results, meaning this is successful or not, right? But when I shifted into my power to just be okay with the expansion of who I am and how I'm evolving consistently and enjoying the rewards or the fruits of those labors, just to continue. Like, who am I to keep saying this is the fruit I must have in order to be fulfilled? Right? So there's this power in creating that framework that aligns with the divine design that is you. And that divine design that is you is revealed in your desires, these ideas that come from the source, right? Whatever your joy is calling you to do. And in that, there's going to be a pathway that unfolds that's not necessarily going to be a smooth pathway. So even learning to embrace these challenges that are coming for your good, coming to allow you to transform and open up, and you basically get what you ask for and you get what you think you deserve. So even as you're using your mind and your skill sets and your wisdom to design these KPIs and milestones and goals that you want to achieve, there's going to be limitations operating in that conditioning or that box that we create for ourselves. Why not remove the box? Trust and just allow yourself, as it's been said, to just be, and in that being, right? This world is an illusion. There's only right now all the time. And what we perceive of this now and what we're, you know, either shifting into what I got to create in the future or holding on to what was happened in the past, our power is in the present moment now. And if you continue to activate that being, that state of being, and embodying the outcome or the fulfilled desired state, you're going to be in tune with inspired action that aligns with the divine in you. And if you can move through the world, even in your business and whatever it is you're offering to the world, allowing the results to be what they would be. And then, as it's been said, you can create beyond what you even imagined, right? And so I want people to open up to the expansion that your being is ready to receive and to experience, and trust the process. Trust those obstacles that are coming to teach you to be more of who you were designed and destined to be. And if you can take a look at what that means for you in your life, You're going to experience this whole entrepreneurship, the change making, whatever it is that you're deciding to do, whatever it is that you were desiring to create and experience can come to you. And then just enjoy the process, the entire process. Once you come to the conclusion that, yes, this proves that I did it, there's even more than that. So I kind of don't even go there anymore. I'm just enjoying the process, the entire process of being in a separation right now. Like, if I tell that story, everyone's going to have a different perception about it, right? But I know that this is a journey I'm trusting, that's allowing me to expand into even more. That's aligning with what my desire is, because I'm living in purpose and in desire, following that desire. I'm following the divine intelligence, divine guidance that is supporting me to just continue to be. And sometimes we just have to get rid of all the extra stuff and purify it and just come down to the original form, as I said in yesterday's session, to remember who you are. And all of this stuff that we're creating, it's just fun. Don't be attached. Don't be attached. Losing that coming out of that multi-million-dollar business and finding something new, like it's a beautiful experience. Let's just enjoy. Like, when I look back at my life and where I was, like, I went to law school and left off of scholarship because it wasn't in alignment, and I trusted my heart with that decision, and abundance and everything required has always shown up. But whenever I'm spiraling out in doubt and uncertainty and limitation, then that's the result I'm going to get. The world is a mirror reflecting to you what you are radiating and who you are being. If you can practice fine-tuning that, whatever you experience is going to be amazing. Just keep remembering that. And so I'm excited for those who are learning from all of us today. This is beautiful, beautiful journey.
Yeah, and we're all learning from each other.
Mhm.
And I want to say that this is something you can consume instead of Netflix shows or instead of TV or news. And it will have an effect on you. It will have an effect on you. It'll help you to expand, because you'll start investigating more about what we're talking about. And if you don't understand what we're talking about, come even closer, come into the VIP, ask us more questions. If you register today, I will, you're going to get interviews, full interviews, and you're going to be able to consume them and go deeper and access their free gifts. And if you come to the VIP, you're going to get even closer to us and come and get personal questions about your life, your business, your relationships answered and supported and guided to help you where you're at this present moment. So that's the weekend. Go do the next thing that's beautiful and joyful. This has been the most beautiful experience for me creating this summit. I'm so happy and enjoy. And every action I take while I'm creating it, I'm enjoying it, because that's the energy I want to put out with every action, with every email that gets sent. And this morning there was an error, and right now I responded to her and said how much I appreciated her telling me. And she says, "It's my pleasure, Jennifer. I did not want to miss any of this conference. The summit is great, and I thank you for putting it together and making this available for us. Wishing you a wonderful day as well." Like, wow, yeah. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, and thank you to everybody who's been listening and will listen later on. Tell us in the comments what you give us feedback.